Every now and then there's a bandit on this road. Fortunately, I can drop off a bulk of what I have at the baker's house and sleep there. Of course, I could sell a bunch of it, and that actually might be the better option. There's not, unfortunately, a instant passing of time. So you had to spend a few minutes going through this. But it also allows you to exit sleeping early if you are fine with it. I chose a little bit later because it seems like in this game people sleep really late. I waste a lot of daylight. For example, still asleep. Sleeping the day away. Of course, again, I slept late too, but then again, I was out all night. Fortunately, it doesn't matter how far away you are from your horse, so you can transfer your goods basically anywhere. That also is an option if you're planning to steal from people and you're worried about the guards searching you. Just immediately put it onto your horse. Any stolen goods, just keep your stolen goods on the horse. If you're planning on going that route, that is. Interesting enough, there's also a quest where you hire people to, you know, get people hired to carry water and droppings out. Carry water up to the castle, and also carry other things out. And you also hire a cook too. I'll just sell some of the excess. Don't have as many weapons to sell. Actually, I've got a lot of alcohol to sell. I don't even use it. The dried fruit is pretty good because it doesn't go bad. Basically, you can keep it for a long amount of time. For some reason, sometimes there's a bit of lag between when you press it and when it actually moves things over. There's actually a perk for each of these mint and things like that to calm down your horse. So little ways into horsemanship. So I don't have as much to sell here.
Good God, you look terrible. Did someone attack you? Good luck then.
I think I probably should. Yeah, I don't have anything to sell. Alright, everything is in decent repair. You can't really repair that. Oh, it's not choosing it. For some reason, sometimes the thing is pretty sticky. Well, let's see here. Armorer's this way, that will help me get rid of most of the weight I've picked up. I can sell my wine here. In theory. Yep. Only 40 welts. Okay. That 40 basically means that's all they can spend on what I have. I'll just let her have it. Sometimes the
I'd like to
if
discuss
you
the price.
Well,
go over,
we can try it.
it's just let them have it, and they have a better opinion of you.
This and a little something on top for good
Flour,
measure.
eggs, salt,
Well now,
let it
thank
bake
you
a bit,
very
and you'll
much.
be able to feed the whole family with fresh bread. Asparagus that'll cut you in half, and cucumbers that'll cure what ails you.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Henry, I'm glad you came.
Alright. Wow. It's even more over than before. So let's see if there's anything I need. Or want, basically. This will be good. Basically, I'm just looking at the numbers to see what I can reasonably get. Get a little bit less, but that's fine. As long as they're blue, that means you're improving yourself. Or you're improving what you're wearing. The defenses of what you're wearing. And you notice there's a negative on visibility, conspicuousness, and noise. Ugh, can't even speak English sometimes. That little dot that's to the left of the item basically means it hasn't been cleaned. And I need to go to the bathhouse for that. I could go to the merchant. There's also another merchant in town. I should have thought about that. Sorry. Merchant's just up ahead. Oh, shoot. I have to put that in there. I'll also use that as a time thing.
Here's your change. Thanks for your custom. I'm glad to see you.
Already over. That's fine. I can always pick up some dried fruit and mushrooms. That stuff will keep. The save your schnapps is what you need to save the game, so that actually is a good idea. You can save it by other means as well. For example, you can exit and save. The only downside to saving it immediately is you're going to get drunk. Everything else I need. Go to the bathhouse and then I'll get training. Also, I have a bandit quest I need to turn in, but that's the same place I'm going to be going for training, so, or should be. I meant to take advantage of the services, not trade.
I'm interested in your services.
And what is it you'd like?
Get myself fixed up a bit. Have a bath and get my clothes washed.
But of course. Money first, though.
Fine. Here it is.
I'm sure you'll be extremely satisfied.
That's a pretty good deal, I reckon. Now to turn in the bandits spurs, and you get quests to take the spurs off the leader of the bandits. You can turn that in every now. Then you'll get a new one. The bandit hideouts aren't so bad to take on, but you need to be careful regardless, because you can easily be overwhelmed. This is not like other games. If you get into a 4-on-1, that is likely going to end up with you dying. Unless you're incredibly lucky.
Good day, Henry.
2-on-1's not so bad. 3-on-1 is a nightmare, but it is doable. It also depends upon how much arms and armor that they're using. If they're wearing a lot of armor, best not to get into that situation. But some of the bandits you run into have very light armor. Some of them have no armor whatsoever, other than the clothing that they're wearing. I still need to meet up with his friends again.
How are you?
I have some trophies.
Let's see. Good. That's how to treat them bastards.
We've taken care of the camp.
Where's the proof?
Here it is.
Pleased to hear it. It looks like your work is done here at Ratai. I haven't heard of any other camps, so we may finally have some peace and calm. Good work.
Thank you, Captain.
Have no fear of idleness. Send word to Captain Robard. They're expecting you at Talmberg. A human hordes rampaging through their woods.
Very well, Captain. I'll set off immediately.
Glad to hear it.
Talmberg then. Let's see if he can give me some training. Otherwise, I'll just go off to meet his friends and I'm off to Talmberg.
Can you teach me how to defend myself better in combat?
Certainly.
I'm interested in more advanced techniques.
All right, but it'll cost you. Now, pay close attention.
Can you teach me how to defend myself better in combat?
Okay, that's
Certainly.
interesting.
I'd like to hone my skills.
First, you have to have some skills to hone.
No, I still need that.
Well, I'll think it over.
Master strikes.
I've trained a bit with a sword, and I think I've got the hang of the basics. Can you teach me something new?
You're a bit cocky, ain't you? All right then, come and show me what you can do.
I'm ready.
See you later. Stand there, take your weapon, and fight. You look like you know what you're doing.
But this also is leveling me up, so yeah, this isn't moving his sword, which is weird. Every now and then this seems to happen in the game.
Enough. That will do. That wasn't at all bad. All right. Seems you're ready for the next lesson. Now, pay close attention. I'll teach you the most important thing. It's good to be able to attack. It's good to be able to fend off your opponent's blows. But the best is when you're able to do both at once. Master stroke is when you parry your opponent's blow, strike him at the same time.
His sword isn't moving, so it's a bit hard to actually see it.
See? I parry and strike in one move. There's no defense against this technique if it's executed well. The thing is to time it right. Block right into your opponent's strike and match your movement to his. One elegant technique and the fight is won. Try it. I'll attack slowly. You parry.
Yeah, this is a problem because he is not moving whatsoever.
No, that's not it.
Alright, I'm gonna have to use that.
Good. All right. Nice.
Every now and then, something happens and his sword thing will not move whatsoever, no matter what. I'm not exactly sure why it freezes like that. But as you see, it can make combat a little bit hard. Yeah, he's still frozen now.
Welcome, Henry.
I'm right before... I'm at the point where I've just gotten into the Cuman base. I've already taken all the information there, and I wanted to train up a bit more before I go into the battle. And I'm doing a couple of quests to help train me up, and hunting down bandits for that as well. Fortunately, I have sabotaged the arrows, and I have also poisoned it. Yeah, I have that. From what I hear, the ashes takes place after the first battle, and you're given a town to basically look over and build up. I've gotten my stealth up decently, but stealth isn't going to help me in this battle. So I'm going to be hunting some bandits around Talmberg for a little bit before I attempt that battle. Actually, I should get my mace up as well. I've been meaning to do that. Yeah, it's just easier to get the horse on the other side of town than it is to try to go through the town with the horse. The mace I want to train up because it's very good for going up against armored opponents. So far I've mostly used a sword, and I like the duelist for that. Oh yeah. And I don't even use them in this game. Still want to have duelist on me. Alright. The mace is designed for better combat against those people who are armored, especially plate armor. The design behind it is the spikes on the mace are to puncture the armor. The mace itself to break bones underneath the armor. Certain swords can do this too. Certain swords are designed, interesting enough, for bashing over slashing. One of those swords is the or what we call the great sword or a claymore. That's not really a sword you cut with. It's a sword that you break bones with. It's great for cavalry, for a degree, even though it's not curved. Most curved swords are for cavalry. That is, if you were to stick a straight sword into someone's side or ribs, the sword will be snatched out of your hand. Curved sword for that. At any rate, some of the swords are made for breaking bones. Bastard sword, for one, is very good for breaking bones. Yeah, swords are fast. But then again, that's what they're designed for. The good thing about swords is if you're going to stab instead of slash, it's much more effective. But yeah, that's usually my go around. I want to do a bit of training with the mace to see how that goes. Usually in other games I'd prefer the mace over the sword. But then again, many of the other games are games like Skyrim. And I usually only use the mace when an enemy gets close enough to me. I'd give my right arm for a crossbow. Maybe my left. No, my right. I can still aim and hit anything with my left arm. I was thinking about using two-handed weapons, two-handed swords. But then I've seen some of the enemies on here and they are insane. Which reminds me I should equip my shield again. Unless I put that up on my horse. I was going stealth for a little while. And I haven't really equipped everything back from that. Alright, now I'm ready. Oops. This happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that it's triangle to dismount. Some of the games I play, it's triangle to speed up the horse. You know, like Shadow of the Colossus. What I really would like is maybe a bandit to get dumb enough to attack me on the road. Barring that, I'll just find a quiet place. Actually, what I wish they had more of is the spears. That would be so nice. I could decimate the armored enemies in this game if I had just had one spear. One good spear. They got halberds in this game, and halberds traditionally are very good for taking on armored opponents. On horses, at least. On land too, but enemies in this game seem to have a bit more agility, even in plate armor, than I expected. Meeting up with his friends now. Been meaning to do this for a while.
God's blessings. What can I do for you?
How do you like it at the mill, Fritz? Gotta be better than the mines.
It's worse here than at Skelet's. There you could disappear without anyone noticing. But here,
But why would you want to disappear? Nimoy isn't here.
no, he's not. But the local foreman is an even bigger ass.
I'm not sure that's possible.
You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything and drown him in the river.
Drown him? What's he done to you?
It was the first or the second day here. But we had a disagreement and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here, but that bastard's in need of a good trouncing.
What about the others at the mill? Are they awful as well?
The miller's an old fool. He believes every word that comes out of Thomas's mouth. It's hopeless. And then there's the miller's daughter. She's a pretty lass, and kind with it. But what can she do? Nothing. Not that it stops till after you're gonna see her. But Thomas is the root of the problem.
Do you think he's jealous? Is she a sweetheart?
He might make puppy dog eyes at her, but most of the time he just struts about like a peacock. I really don't think she's the problem.
And what do you want to do about it? Do you think you can come to an agreement?
No fucking chance. Matthew hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than the mines, but the pay's worse.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper trouncing. I mean a real thrashing.
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe it'll knock some sense into that fat head of his. Or he'll be too frightened to mess with me.
That might help.
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh, we could...
What?
We could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
Alright.
Take care.
God's blessing. What can I do for you?
I've heard you don't have it easy here.
So you spoke to Fritz then? I bet that wasn't quite how he put it.
No, not quite. Apart from Thomas's name, the rest was mostly swear words.
I can imagine. I've been hearing the same from him all week. The foreman here is a pain in the arse. He's trying either to wear us to the bone or force us to leave.
Always forcing you to work, is he?
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason for him to yell at us.
I can imagine.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And the miller won't stick up for you. I would have thought all the yelling would drive him mad.
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us. He's got us down for a pair of parasites.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
And you definitely don't... You don't ever provoke him?
I've already told you once, he's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it. If he wants to yell at us, he'll yell at us.
Have you tried talking?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz going, and he starts yelling too, and...
And what do you want to do about it? Just run away?
Actually, I'd like to stay here, at least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working in a mill, but not with him around. It's unbearable. and there's no one I can complain to. But you could.
Me? Do you think they'll listen to me?
They did once already, didn't they? They hired us because of you. You could have another word with them.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be worse.
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try and talk to him.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind.
Alright, so
Coffee with
must be the one that they were talking about.
I'm honored that you should come to me.
So what do you think about the workers I brought you?
If I hadn't put in a good word for them, the miller would have thrown them out by now.
I heard them say something else.
So they're complaining, are they? I provide for them, and all they do is slack off.
Isn't it the miller who provides for them?
He can't manage the work anymore. If it weren't for me, there'd be nothing left standing around here.
But you need the help anyway. And they're pretty handy.
Maybe, but they're in no danger of overworking themselves. They act like they're too good for them, and I saw them eyeing up Jane.
Strange about that. She's a pretty girl. She's of an age to marry.
It's not marriage they've got on their minds. Have their way with her, then before her belly starts to grow, they have run for the hills.
Look, we can reach an agreement. You need the mill fixed, they need the money. If they have peace to do their work, they'll be able to finish it faster.
But
And then they'll take their groschen and leave. The mines will open then, and the faster they get their money, the quicker they'll be gone.
do you really think I can trust them to do it? Will they do their work and leave? And leave Jane alone in the meantime?
Of course. They're not interested in the mill. They just need the coin to pay their debts. Once they've got enough, they'll have no reason to stay here.
I never thought we could sort it out this way.
I've known them for a long time, and we can rely on them when it comes to this. Everybody will be better off.
All right. If they keep their part of the bargain, I'll even give them a few extra groschen. But woe betide them if they don't. You can tell them that. Take care now.
It took some doing, but I made a deal with him.
I'm glad to hear it. So we can stay here? He'll leave us be?
He'll leave you alone, but there are conditions. Once you finish your job, you'll vanish from here. But you'll get an extra groschen or two for your troubles.
And that's it? I thought... Never mind.
Oh, and you're to stop dallying with the miller's daughter. Keep on mucking about with her and you'll muck things up for yourselves.
The fucking bastard. He can go fuck himself. He'd better give us enough groschen to make it worth it. But I suppose I should thank you. You may have bought us some peace and quiet. That's better than nothing. Here's something for your help.
Taking content. Oh, lacking a content? Well, I mean, it's not as big as Skyrim, but I wouldn't say it's completely lacking. It's just a game that you really have to... It's very different than a lot of other games.
See you later.
Let's see, where is the other one? Do I need to talk to Fritz too? The fighting, for example, is very different. No, that's training.
Good luck then.
Alright, that's taken care of. I need to head off to Townsburg. It's... The two are two very different games as well. So it's It's not that it's lacking from Skyrim, it's just a completely different game. If you're expecting something along the levels of Skyrim, you're not going to find it in this game. You don't really create your own character for one. You're playing Henry, and that's basically the only character you can play. And you're playing the game through a more structured story. So if you want to think about it, it's not necessarily that it's lacking all the extra stuff. It's got a lot of things that you can do. Some of the things you might want to do, some of the things you might not want to do. Yeah, I love Skyrim. I played the Elder Scrolls series since the second game, Daggerfall. But this right here is sort of a small change from that. And it's very fun. But it's not a game for... I wouldn't say it's a game for everyone. Simply because of... basically, it's a pretty difficult game. Your combat, you have to pay attention to your combat. And you basically control how you strike with the sword. Whether you're striking from... Basically, in combat, you have basically what looks like a star. You can hit on the lower levels, left, right, upper levels, right, left. Oh, replayability? Honestly, yeah. It is lacking on that. But there's a number of things that you can do, but yes, it's lacking on replayability because, like I said, you're playing more of a structured game. There's some of the choices, like what I did back there, I could have gotten into combat with them. That alters for that mission back there with Fritz and Matthew, two friends of Henry. That would have given you a different outcome. But I can't honestly say that it has the same type of replayability as Skyrim. It doesn't. It, however, is the type of game that you might want to play if you're between games. Or if you're looking for something that's... Well, I can't even say realistic. It's more realistic than Skyrim in terms of combat, but not really. If you're looking for something difficult, and you're looking for something within a certain time frame, this might be the game for you. I don't know if that helps or hurts your argument. I would say wait till it's on a good deal, then it'll be pretty good to get. I got this game because I knew it would be difficult, and I knew your choices would matter, and they definitely matter in this game. Not only that, but with some of the quests, for example in Skyrim, you can take your time and do them whenever. There's not a time limit. In this game there is. So in other words, if you dally around for some of the quests, you could actually get into trouble on some of the quests. Or you could definitely alter how some of that quest turns out a lot. And that also is something to think about as well. The quest that, main quest that I'm on right now is right after I snuck into a bandit camp, which has bandits and Cumin. They are mercenaries from Eastern Europe. And fortunately, I can take my time now because the main mission won't go on to the battle until I report my findings, report the sabotage I did on their camp, which they basically taken over a city. Not really a city, as a town. They've taken over this town right here. I need to report this back to the main army. But the quest is frozen until then. So it's one of those quests where you can take a little bit more time. You get used to if you have a time limit or not. And there are cues when you get the quest and when you're talking through the quest if you have a time limit or not. Also, those rabbits right there, you have to bear in mind that it's illegal to hunt.
Hey,
And if a poacher finds you doing it, they will attempt to arrest you. But there's not as many poachers around. Plus, you can also run into some other poachers, and they could threaten you if you linger too long. And the bandits too. There's also one thing to think about in this game, and that is how combat is generally covered. In a one-on-one fight, you're fine against a lot of opponents. Even some of the heavier armored ones, you can be fine. You start getting into 2-on-1, your chances of winning decrease considerably. If you get into a 3-on-1 and you're up against well-armored opponents, chances are you'll die, but you can still win. If you're 4 or 5-on-1, there's no way. I have found no way to win that fight. Because they will swarm you and they will use tactics on you, and it is a nasty fight. Also, you have stamina in this game, so you can't go swinging around a sword like you can in other games. So you really have to keep tactics in mind. You have to keep placement in mind. And that is one of the reasons why I got the game. Because I knew it was not going to be easy. But then again, that's what I was looking for.